Greetings Commanders, Stealth Boy here. This video guide will walk you through all of the key points of infiltration in Odyssey. This will help you to understand the process of infiltration, the options you have, and show you all of the tools you have at your disposal to infiltrate any settlement you like. You'll also learn how to recover from a mistake or a mission going bad to maybe still complete the mission or at least avoid costly fines or imprisonment. The video assumes you have a good understanding of stealth in Odyssey and how it works. If you'd like to learn more about stealth, then I recommend you watch my guide, The Definitive Guide to Stealth, before continuing with this guide. So let's jump right in. This guide will be split into roughly 7 sections that will cover everything you need to know to master infiltration with only a little practice and patience. I will say this, patience is absolutely a virtue when it comes to infiltration, and you will always benefit if you can take your time and properly assess a situation that you're unfamiliar with. The first skill of infiltration is gaining an understanding of the layout of the settlement. There are 28 different variations of settlement types in Odyssey, and they all vary in layout. So when you first arrive at an unfamiliar location, then your first objective should be to find a terminal. You can use terminals to quickly discover a specific building or member of staff, and at the same time it'll allow you to see what level of security access is required for a specific area. This does mean you will need to gain that access level in order to find some mission locations. You may have to return to a terminal several times during a mission in order to find the next key objective, and it's also useful for obtaining the key codes for lockers or containers. This is how you can tag the location. And then you can find this on your HUD and compass here and here. This shows you how far away the target is as well. It used to be possible to tag multiple targets or members of staff, but it looks like this has been patched. You can only highlight one NPC and one location at a time, so you may want to memorize the rough direction of something before tagging something else, or you can simply return to any terminal to get a new target. The second stage of infiltration is gaining access to where you need to go. Odyssey settlements have secure areas and panels that may require security clearance to reach or use, and there are 4 levels of security, including 0, which is what you will always start at. Wherever you see a doorway or airlock in a settlement, you can see this panel that indicates what level of security is required for the doors to open. This can also be seen on any panel that you may wish to activate, as seen here. Initially, there are 4 ways to gain access to secure locations. Number 1, tailgating. Simply following a worker through a security door can work if all you wish to do is gain access to a single location quickly and the opportunity arises. This is limited in its use and will also require some patience. Not all doors are used by NPC workers either. Number 2, if you don't have the right security clearance, then brute force will work. If you use the Maverick Suit's arc cutter tool to cut open the red panels by the door, and then use the energy link overcharge function to break the locking mechanism and force the door open. This works fine, but takes time, and it also risks being spotted. If an NPC sees a doorway that's been forced open, they will also take note and may raise the alarm. When a settlement isn't powered, the only way to open a door is this method. This method won't help you if you need to activate a secure panel, however. Number 3, the best way to gain full security access is to clone the security identification of a worker. This does come with its own risks, but rewards you by allowing you to both open secure doors and also access panels. The risk is that a guard scanning you will discover the cloned ID, and this will cause them to attack you and attempt to raise the alarm. Number 4, alternatively, you can use an e-breach in certain situations to break past security access. I don't specifically cover this process in this guide because it's self-explanatory, and it's a method that I prefer not to use. There's a limited list of reasons you have no choice to use an e-breach, however. For example, reactivating an inactive settlement when you don't have security clearance, so it's worth knowing about this method. I always recommend cloning the ID of a worker to gain access. It takes some time initially, but gives you more freedom later on, particularly if you need to access more than one location, and is definitely required for many heists or sabotage missions. One option is to clone a security level 1 worker, then find a security level 2 worker, and so on. But there tends to always be a way to just go and find a level 3 worker right away and get the high security clearance without messing about. Bear in mind that security level 3 isn't required for all missions, and some only require level 2, but seeing as it's possible to just get level 3, then I'd recommend this in most cases. I won't go into detail as to where you can find level 3 workers in this video, and I will provide some more insight into this in a later guide. But the general rule is you want to look for windows looking into the command centers, power centers, or the main settlement types of operational buildings, such as the IND building in industrial settlements. I've always been able to find at least one window looking in on a level 3 worker, and this is your opportunity. Find them, get behind them, and clone them, and you're ready to go. In many cases, the next port of call will be to find the settlement's alarms panel. This isn't strictly necessary if all you're looking to do is loot materials for upgrades, but it is essential if you do not wish to raise the alarm, and it is very important from any mission that asks you to activate a panel with security clearance, such as the Power Center's deactivate panel for stealing power regulators, or any heist or sabotage mission where you need to open up a sample container. Disabling the settlement's alarms gives you an added layer of security as well. If you are discovered or caught doing something wrong, you can avoid the entire settlement attacking you because they won't be able to raise the alarm. This gives you a chance to still complete a mission and escape even if you get caught midway through. We'll cover this later on in the guide. Remember to use a terminal if you need to find the settlement's alarms panel. It's usually located in the command center in the security room marked as SEC, as seen here, but can be located in other areas in settlements that do not have a security room, such as the power center or even in the IND building's plant room. You will need level 1 access or an e-breach to activate the panel. If you already cloned a level 1 or higher ID, then you're set. This panel is often guarded, so make sure you use all the stealth tricks you have learned to get to and operate this panel safely. It's often located in restricted areas which you are not allowed to enter. Another option you have at this stage is to disable the settlement's authority scanners. This essentially means you turn off the security requirements for the doorways throughout the settlement. If you can do this quickly, and the panel is often located nearby to the settlement alarms panel, then do so. It means you can still access any room in the settlement if you need to discard your cloned ID, and I will cover the reason why you might want to do this later on in the guide. Turning authority scanners off will not give you access to any secure panels, however, so you'll still need level 2 authority or an e-breach for that. So this is the part where you get down to business. What do you do when you reach your objective? I'll split this up into types of objectives. One, for most general objectives like hunting for materials to upgrade or getting into locked containers or lockers, which can be required on some heist missions and is often needed for the so-called transport missions, all you'll need is either your arc cutter, an e-breach, or the key code to open the locker or container. Locked containers need a key code or e-breach. If your target is an assassination mission, I'd recommend using the energy link overcharge attack wherever it's possible to get close and behind your target without them noticing you. This reduces the risk of another NPC hearing your attack and takes advantage of the target's unshielded state. This attack is always a one-shot kill on an unshielded target. Of course, sometimes the mission doesn't require that you remain undetected, and sometimes it's just quicker and easier just to shoot them. I've recommended the Executioner for one-shot kills with an unshielded target. If your target is in a restricted area, you may need to be patient and observe their pattern, and be careful to note the pattern of any other nearby NPCs. Stay calm and move out quietly and quickly to avoid detection. Exit the settlement immediately. To remove a power regulator as part of a mission, or just to keep it for yourself to upgrade suits, you will want to access and deactivate this panel. It's always housed inside the level 3 restricted area of the power center and almost always located near to a worker who will not react well to you trespassing. The process of shutdown takes 3 minutes. If you need to leave the worker alive, such as on a non-violent mission, then do this and exit the restricted area immediately to wait for the 3-minute countdown. If you disabled the settlement alarms, then you can just chill out at this point. If you chose not to, you will now need to fight off an attack of several guards and workers. Once the timer completes, you can remove the power regulator from its housing and exit. I recommend waiting near to the doorway to keep it open. It will remain open after the power cuts out. You will need to use your energy link tool to open any closed doors as they will no longer be powered. Be careful to avoid any guards at this point. They will be looking for whoever turned off the power and will attack you if they see you. To steal a sample, insert a sample, or activate any other similar machinery to complete a mission objective, you will need to activate the panel, a breach or security level 2 access required, and then wait 3 minutes for it to open. If the panel is in a restricted area, then I recommend leaving the area and waiting the 3 minutes outside to avoid detection. These mission types can be very challenging. Sometimes there are several workers overseeing the location, so you need to time this part well. There is often more than one way to enter a restricted area, and there may be a better approach that gives you the best chance of avoiding detection. Be aware that as soon as that 3 minutes is up, a nearby worker will walk over to close it back up again. You need to act in that time, otherwise the 3 minutes was wasted. The final section of this guide will cover what to do if things don't go according to your meticulous plans and things go wrong. And they will go wrong, trust me. Even the most experienced stealth artist can make mistakes, and it's very easy to get caught even if you're being very careful. It's often possible to salvage a bad situation and turn it into a completed mission. The best advice is stay calm. If a guard demands to scan you, and you have cloned security clearance, then you can purge it immediately. To do this, access your item wheel and select this option. So long as you're not carrying any illegal items, then the scan will be clean and you can continue. This is a time when deactivating the settlement authority scanners will help you, as you'll still be able to move freely about the settlement. If you're on a mission, I'd actually suggest avoiding stealing any traceable goods while you're there until you are very confident you can avoid guard scans. There's no way to purge these, and it might result in a failed mission if you're not careful. If you get spotted by a worker in a restricted area, just quickly exit the area and wait for them to run to you. They will let you off with a warning, but they will only do this once, so be ultra careful from that moment on.
That's more like it.
If you get spotted and attacked, the very first thing you need to do is raise your shields. You will die very quickly if you don't do this. Then run away and hide. As explained in my stealth guide, you only need to remain out of their line of sight for around 30 seconds and then they will stop looking. You can then try again or escape if you need to. Just bear in mind that they will remain red on the radar, and this means they will attack you on sight from now on. In many cases, you can still complete the objective despite all these things going wrong. But if you are finding it too difficult because you've been spotted, then you can simply leave and return to the settlement to try again. You may need to pay off some minor fines, and you should do this when you return to your ship. So long as you didn't commit any serious crimes like assault or murder, you'll have nothing to worry about. You can then just try again. That concludes the definitive guide to infiltration. In future videos, I will talk about specific strategies for individual mission types and also go into more detail about how you can tackle some of Odyssey's more challenging locations, and also how to use stealth in combat. If you've enjoyed this video and are keen to learn more, please do like, subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified when I release more videos. Thanks for watching. Stay stealthy, Commanders.